A long-time friend of mine visited me one Friday. Standing over the sink as I washed the dishes after our dinner, I heard a knock on the door. It was not the loud, brazen knock I had grown to expect. This rapping carried with it a rather timid timbre, but I knew who it was. I shook my head with a resolve to pretend not to hear it, but he would have nothing to do with that. He rang the bell, and I could no longer feign my ignorance. I knew it was you, I muttered as I cracked the door just enough for him to show himself in. I know, Death whispered almost apologetically as he closed the door behind himself, following me into the kitchen. Cold was his stare to my back, and I thanked God for the warmth of the water on my hands and forearm. "What are they to do now?" I asked his reflection in the window. "You realize that his son needs to leave school." "Shh!" he admonished. "Don't you hear what he's saying?" Oh, your awful, deafening wake. Was that to silence me? Was that the care you bring to my soul, to show me the Father? This is your lot, taking stock of my demeanor. My humiliated friend found his way even closer to me and reached for my shoulder. I recoiled and stiffened my neck towards him. Retreating to the head of my table and sitting in my chair, he placed his hand on his, breaking the silence far too early. Death signaled that he wouldn't leave me alone. "Will you quiet yourself and allow me to serve you? Or will you continue to shake your fist and wag your head at me? Let me show you his gift. Let me show you what only I can." I straightened my back and dried my hands, issuing an invitation. "You can go now," I started as tears welled in my eyes. No, I can't. I dare not beg my leave of you. He won't have it, not yet." "Anyway," came the retort as he lightly shook and cast his eyes to the floor, "you weren't there from the beginning. How could you be part of the plan?" I countered, knowing that it was somewhat useless to argue. "You and I know that, but what of me now?" He was an excellent servant. I had to admit, the walls he built were fine walls, so very thick and tall. Many were the mornings that I sat in their shadow admiring them, and horrors that sought my soul. I shot a strong glance toward him. "Then teach," I sneered through clenched teeth. "Sit with me," he invited, pushing the chair from the table with his foot. Placing myself to his left, Death reached out his hand. As I brushed against it, I felt its familiar sting and burn. I winced and tried not to cry out. I wrapped my fingers between his, pressing our palms together. His bony, barely skinned hands made me take a sudden deep breath, and though there was the growing taste of honey in my mouth, I dared not swallow. "Please," he begged, closing his eyes so that he would not have to look at me. "Please, let me show you wonderful things." Broken and abandoned to him. I shivered as I picture the two of them, their farm, their children. "Do it quickly," I begged. "No, my friend," Death answered, barely audibly. As his hand enveloped mine, his instruction began.